Hello, and welcome to the Introduction to JoVE Video Library platform, enhancing instruction through visually engaging content videos. This presentation is brought to you by Stacy Davis, a JoVE product specialist, Joyce Bowen and Nicole Gutenberg, Boston Public Schools Science, Technology, and Engineering Program Directors. Today we will begin with a connecting activity, provide you with a brief framing, dive into the JoVE presentation, engage in some discussion, exploration, and then we will wrap up. Our objectives are to understand the features and resources available to students and teachers on the JoVE platform. We want you to learn the basics of how those resources can align to your curriculum and the MAS 2016 standards, and how you can utilize those high-quality videos to support and enhance your instruction and student learning. And hopefully, we will be able to engage in some discussion to discuss strategies to promote engagement, equity, collaboration, and discourse among students in a virtual setting. I'd like for you to take 2 minutes to examine the photos. You're in your alone zone, so there is no talking. We'd like you to put on your student hat. What questions come to mind when you look at these images? Have you experienced, heard of, or seen something similar? When you are ready, click on the link that's provided in the PowerPoint. If you do not have the PowerPoint, then please just note these questions or these answers to these questions in your notebook. Press pause, and when you are ready, press play to resume the presentation. We will return to those questions later in the presentation. Equity in science education requires that all students are provided with equitable opportunities to learn science and become engaged in science and engineering practices, with access to quality space, equipment, and teachers to support and motivate that learning and engagement, and adequate time spent on science. In addition, the issue of connecting to students' interests and experiences is particularly important for broadening participation in science. In Boston, we strive toward a vision of science instruction where equity is achieved and opportunity and achievement gaps are eliminated. We do this by providing teachers and students access to high-quality instructional materials and resources, and high-quality teaching that tap into and build upon students' experiences. In Boston Public Schools, we have committed ourselves to 6 pillars to eliminate the achievement and opportunity gaps, to accelerate learning, through high-quality schools, high-quality instruction and teaching, to amplify all voices through the materials and strategies that we employ, and to expand opportunity for our students. We need to cultivate trust and activate our partnerships in order to be successful in this. Boston Public Schools has now adopted the CRIOP, Culturally Responsive Instruction Observation Protocol, which aligns to our pillars and the vision of the science department. We can use the indicators within the 6 domains to guide and ensure that our instructional strategies enhance our use of high-quality resources. This will enable our teachers to provide students with engaging and authentic learning experiences. At BPS, every child in every classroom is entitled to an equitable, world-class, high-quality education. Each child should have the same unfettered access to every conceivable resource to unlock the greatness within them. JoVE is one of those high-quality resources. This resource is made available to us through the generosity of Northeastern's Snell Library, and it will allow our teachers to access this resource through June 2023. We will now take a deep dive into the JoVE digital video platform. The demonstration will provide answers to what's available on the site, what are its unique features, information on logistical how-tos.
Hello, my name is Stacy Davis. I'm a K-12 account specialist at JoVE, science video company. Boston Public Schools has unlimited access to our science content, so I'm here to give you a tutorial of our high school website, along with show you any additional resources that are available to you so you can make the most of your access. To start, I want to show everyone how to sign in to JoVE. Just so you know, the high school website is jove.com/high school. So once you're there, you can click the sign in button in the top right. If you've already created an account, this should auto-populate. If you have a Google email, which I believe everyone at BPS does, you can click sign in here and click on your BPS email to sign in automatically. One of the things I would suggest is to select the appropriate role, so that way you have instructor access to our testing features. There you could just click faculty to do that, and you can save changes. I don't need to do anything here, so I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and go back to our high school website, clicking high schools. As you can see, we have a variety of selections of different subjects. You have access to all of this from our science education content, along with the coronavirus resources if you're interested in sharing that information with your students. And then also this research tab, which is a link to our peer-reviewed journal articles. You also have this Teaching with JoVE tab, which has additional resources for best practices. I'll get to that later. I also want to make sure that you know that towards the bottom of this page, there is a video available if you'd like to watch of how another high school utilizes JoVE to enhance their science teaching. Scrolling back to the top, I'll give you a tutorial of the different kinds of content we have. Our largest library is in biology, so I'll be using that as an example. We have video textbooks, lab manuals, and science education libraries. To start, let's look at core video textbook. We tend to find that the high schools favorite the textbooks and the lab manuals. The video textbook resembles a very traditional textbook in that there's different units, I believe 7, and different chapters, 36. Let's go into an example chapter that a lot of high schools favor as well, the biotechnology chapter. Each of these chapters comes with a key terms and concepts section. Those are the lessons, and a scientist in action section, which shows some of our peer-reviewed journal articles that are handpicked by our team of PhDs, and those show real-world examples of the lessons being learned. I'm going to go back to the key terms and concepts and again show you one of the fan favorite videos on CRISPR. I'll have to press play for the video to go, and I have it on mute just so I can talk through it, but I'll put on closed captioning, which we have available in many different languages. As you can see, there was also the option for speeding up or slowing down the speed. Again, adjusting the volume, going full screen. You also have a transcript to the right. This is the same text that you're seeing in the closed captioning. You can copy and paste this. And you're also able to copy and paste the accompanying text that's available for each of these videos. Scrolling down to give you an example of what that looks like. And some of these videos will also have suggested reading if you'd like to expand on the topic even further. Scrolling back up, I wanted to show you that this video is about 2 minutes long, and each of these videos in core biology is 1 to 3 minutes long. They're very short, concise, high impact. You can also embed each of these videos by clicking the embed button. It'll bring you to a link here that you can copy easily. And I'll show you later a very easy, comprehensible Google Classroom document for embedding and integrating JoVE videos. You'll also be able to use the table of contents up here if you want to skip to different chapters and different videos. And of course, you can go to previous video, next video, or back to the chapter in the top left corner here. You can also use this to get back to core, the whole selection of chapters. Here's where you can click on Teaching Resources to get the quiz questions for each of the chapters in Core Bio. I've also shared this with Nicole and Joyce previously, and they can easily send it your way. Or if you'd like to email me, I'll share my email later, and I'd be happy to send that your way. So the high school website stays open over here, but you can also get to different areas of JoVE using these tabs up here. I'm looking to get to the lab manual for biology, so I'm going to click on JoVE Lab Manual. Remember, if I go back to the high school website, I can get there as well, Lab Manual. Now that I'm here, I'm going to click Biology. And this is also organized very much like a traditional lab manual. You have the different units and chapters here. I'll go ahead and show a natural selection as an example. Each of these experiments comes with 3 videos. The concept videos is much like the text that comes before the experiment, and then that text that you're used to is also underneath that video right here. You have references, you have the closed captioning is still available, and then embed code, transcript. It's very similar to the textbook. These videos usually run like 3 to 10 minutes long, and then the instructor prep I'll show you is usually much shorter. This one's only a minute long. I'd say these run from 1 to 5 minutes long. And if there's multiple parts to the lab prep for the instructor, you'll see different options here so you can jump to different parts of the video. Scrolling down, again, it's very traditional having the learning objectives available. You can even hide that. The list of materials available, which you can print or hide again. And the lab prep area, which you can print this. There's only a few steps in this one, which is nice. And again, you can hide this just so you can view the selection you're interested in. There's that embed code that we're familiar with as well, and all the available features. Going to the student protocol, this is something that you could play for the students before, after, or even during their lab experience. These tend to be longer, from 5 to 15 minutes long, showing every little step of the procedure for the students to walk through. You scroll down, you have the same option to minimize things as you walk through them. Here's the procedure. You can print the steps just so you know what that looks like, and when you click on print the procedure. I haven't given you an example yet, so here it is. While I wait for that to load, I'll just go back to the video so I can show you the different parts of text associated with the video. Again, there's the procedure. Unfortunately, my screen is frozen. Maybe it has to do with this. So this popped up. You can print the text. I'm going to cancel, but you'll be able to see the procedure and the print format if I X out of this. There, I'm more easily able to scroll here to show you the procedure. And a lot of these will also have associated results for the student. Now that I'm done showing the lab manual, I'm going to go back to the high school website so I can show you our different libraries available. Again, you can get to all this from these different options. The same thing, sort of thing, shows up for chemistry. I'm just going to use this top bar because you can get to it from any page to show you our biology collections, and the biology again is our biggest subjects. So we have the video textbook lab manual and 2 different science education libraries actually. I'll go to basic biology. This is a lot more on more basic techniques and model organisms. And then just so you know, when you look into advanced biology, I'll show you a little bit later, it's more on specific subjects. Let's look at general laboratory techniques and look at introduction to Bunsen burner, because what high school student doesn't need to know that? These are organized just a little bit differently. The science education series is actually a little bit older than the core video textbooks and lab manuals. So this has been around a little bit longer. I'll press play so you can see what this looks like. And the English closed captioning. All this is in a familiar spot. These videos tend to be 5 to 15 minutes long as well. I'll even speed it up so you can see a little more of the action being shown. This is the overview. Let's just skip to applications. So you can see how each of these little chapters in the video work. And if you scroll down, you have the text that's associated with it. It is not the transcript. If you scroll down, again, it has all that information associated with the video. You can go click on protocol if you want just this information to look at. You can embed the video just like you did in the other sections to get that link. And here you could also create a quiz, just so you know what that looks like. I'm going to show you from here. If you click create quiz, it'll show you the collection you've selected and the specific video you selected. You can title it, and each of these videos will have 5 questions already prepared that you can use, but you're also able to add your own questions for which you can upload images and input your own information here and select which is going to be correct. Now that I'm done with this, I'm just going to go back to this high school's page. I want to show you a little bit more of the content that we have available, just so you have a better idea of the catalog of subjects that we have. Again, we had that second subject in second library in biology. So this page brings you to all the different sections that we have. Just to keep this page open, I'm going to click on advanced biology. We also have content in physics, engineering, chemistry, clinical skills, environmental science, and psychology. We have a chemistry core video textbook coming out any day now, so keep your eyes open for that. So let's just click on this so you can see the different subjects that we have content in. You can also just browse from the side here and click on chemistry. You can see different subject areas. Click on environmental sciences. That's where you'll find earth science as well. Click on physics, engineering, which I believe is our largest subject library. Clinical skills, which seems to be great for EMT and first aid and nursing training. And there's psychology, which again is one of our larger selections. We also have a psychology, social psychology textbook you can look out for, which you can get to from the high school page, or again by going to education, JoVE Core, and so on. All right, so back to the high school website, I want to show you that we have this Teaching with JoVE tab. This has instructions for creating an account in case you want to share that with your students. Again, it's very straightforward with just Google single sign-on. We also have textbook mapping available for core biology, and that's mapped to OpenStax biology and Campbell biology. You'll also find the state and NGSS correlations here. I'm going to click on that. So you can see we have a correlation to state standards for Massachusetts, as well as NGSS, and several different AP courses. I'm going to click on the Faculty Resource Center because you can also find a lot of resources here, including syllabus mappings. We have a small selection for K-12 done already, and that includes the Massachusetts end-of-year test. And this shows suggested videos for preparing for that. This is what the mappings look like, but if you go back to that Faculty Resource Center, say you click on biology, we're putting together playlists as well. And here's an introduction to biology playlist that you can utilize. That's just an example. Feel free to look through the Faculty Resource Center for more. Going back there, back to mapped videos, you can see all of the different content. Back to the Faculty Resource Center. If you click on the integration of JoVE videos into online courses in your LMS, here's where you're going to find that Google Classroom integration page. I'll click on that. And I'm going to leave that up just so that you can look at it in greater detail while you are working on sort of applications. Here, this seems to be the full view of the page. And if you have any questions about how you can use JoVE and what resources are available to you, you can feel free to email me at stacy.davis@jove.com. That's STACEYDAVIS@JOVE.com. More resources that are available to you can be found on the Faculty Resource Center, like guides for teaching remotely with JoVE videos. And you can also, from the top, click on Librarians, or from the bottom here, click on Resources. And you'll find a lot more resources available to you, like tutorials for using JoVE. That's something worth checking out if you're interested. Again, my name is Stacy Davis. Thank you for attending this tutorial and preparing to use JoVE.
Let's review. You've just learned some of the basic functions of JoVE and what is available to you. How to log on, how to use the search engine to locate a video, how to embed a video in Google Classroom, and now you are starting to see the videos and how they may support your instruction. Let's return to our connecting activity, where we asked you to begin with your student hat on. Now we'd like you to put your teacher hat on. If you can, return to the Jamboard, or just simply look at the questions that you've written in your notebook. With that teacher hat on, take a moment to look at the questions. Can you see a pattern? Can the questions be grouped or categorized? Normally, this is something you could have your students do. After they write all their questions, they can group them into categories, and you can use those categories to plan your instruction. Best practice would dictate that you have already anticipated their questions and are prepared to address them through the lessons that you have planned. But even you may be surprised by questions that your students raise. This is called a driving question board, and it is a strategy that is used to provide equity of student voice, as all students must post a question or questions. Once you identify the groupings, you can use them to drive your instruction and planning. And in this case, we anticipated for you, we hope correctly, that students would wonder if different places would have similar or different amounts of earthworms. And we selected a video from the JoVE library that is connected to that topic.
Proceed to the sampling site with a quadrat and the water carrier containing diluted mustard solution. Also bring 3 sampling cups per site. They should be labeled appropriately for 3 replicates per sampling site. Place the quadrat randomly on the ground in a cleared spot. Clear away the brush, leaves, and mulch as much as possible to clearly expose the soil. Mix the dilute solution again, and then switch the cap valve to the on position. Pour approximately a third of the diluted mustard solution within the quadrat, concentrating the majority of the liquid at the center of the quadrat area. If the soil becomes saturated and forms pools, stop pouring and wait until pooled solution infiltrates the soil before continuing. Observe the quadrat area closely for 5 minutes, looking for earthworm appearance. Be sure to look directly under the sides of the quadrat. Wait for all earthworms to emerge from the soil within the quadrat area, and then collect them with forceps. After 5 minutes, close the sample cup and proceed to the next sampling site. Repeat the collection steps for all sampling sites. Return to each site and perform 3 replicates per site. Count the number of earthworms collected for each sample, and then calculate the mean and standard deviation for each collection site.
As you progress through a unit, a teacher could circle back to the student's driving question board to see which of their questions have now been answered and which still remain. Notice that the video that was selected did not answer the question, but provided a means for students to be able to answer the question. This is one strategy to engage and provide equity of voice to your students. We would like to now engage in a brief discussion. Using the following prompts. How do you anticipate using the JoVE videos to support student learning in your instruction? In what ways can you use JoVE to engage students in discourse? How do you think your ELL and special education students will benefit from this resource? If you are by yourself, please take a moment to reflect in your journal. If you are with a group of people, please press pause to engage in this discussion and then hit play to resume the presentation. Now it's time for some practical play. Please take 5 minutes, or 10, to explore the platform resources specifically within your course content. Focus on your upcoming lessons and narrow your search for videos to support the beginning of the school year. If you are with colleagues, you can discuss how you can use JoVE to support your instruction. Perhaps you can begin to draft an outline of a lesson or a unit in which you will use JoVE to support your teaching of a concept. Then you can find videos that fit within that draft lesson or unit. Press pause to engage in this collaborative planning, or continue the presentation. We are at the wrap-up. Please take a moment to reflect on the following prompts. What is one new thing you will try with your students this year? Describe how what you have learned today will impact and/or improve your instructional practice. What wonderings or questions do you still have? When you're ready, and if you have a copy of the presentation, click the link that's posted and add your responses to the Jamboard. Feel free to respond to others if you've got time. Please don't forget that the Boston Public Schools bpsscience.weebly.com has a host of resources to support our BPS educators. If you'd like to join our Google Classroom, you will enter the code that you see here to join the community of BPS teachers. In addition, there's also science and engineering practices modules that you could use as in your small school teams. These were created by BPS teachers to support the engagement of science practices, of the science and engineering practices. Please do not hesitate to reach out and contact us with questions. Our emails are below. And we thank you for your time today.